ready to get this show on the road.
The catchphrase of all catchphrases.
One real quickly here before we leave college football. Final Four playoff predictions. Obviously, they had a ranking today. They had the new list today, but next Sunday will be the final one. And since we're not going to be here next Sunday, we might as well say who we think is going to be those last 4 teams that will make the college football playoff. Luke, can you take it that way for me?
See, for me, for number one, I got Ohio State. That team is just so dominant. They are the best team, the best Ohio State team that we've possibly seen ever, possibly. And they've had great wins against Wisconsin when they were number 13. They beat them 38-7. They beat Penn State when Penn State was number 8. They beat them 28-17. They just beat Michigan. They blew them out 56-27. I mean, they're just showing that their whole team is solid all around. They're well coached. They got Chase Young, who's probably the best NFL prospect on that edge.
Heisman Trophy leader, probably. Him along with Joe Burrow.
I think no matter what, they are a lock for the college football playoff.
You can see that.
Number 2, I got LSU. LSU's 12-0, just like Ohio State. Their defense is struggling, though. Their defense is here and there. You never know. But then again, Joe Burrow. He is an absolute stud at a quarterback for LSU. He finds ways to win games. He's also a Heisman contender. They could be in a shootout. I think that national championship, Ohio State, LSU, if that how it turns out, that game could be an absolute shootout. LSU's got good wins against number 9 Texas, number 7 Florida, number 9 Auburn, and then Alabama.
I'm gonna touch on that in a second too, because I want to bring up something to your point.
And then just beating Alabama in the Iron Bowl. People saw that. Sorry, not in the Iron Bowl. The LSU beating Alabama, I think 2 weeks before the Iron Bowl, but they dominated. I mean, they didn't dominate Alabama to that point, but they looked like a solid football team that really could make a run. You said you had something you want to touch on?
Yeah. So I like your list. The only thing I would say is I'm one of them people that think LSU should be number 1 over Ohio State.
You do?
I really do. I think if we match them on paper, maybe the eye test agrees with your point of Ohio State being number 1. But if we look at strength of schedule, LSU has far more tougher points. Auburn. Even Texas, when Texas was hot at that time,
yep.
They went on the road and beat them. Alabama, nice shootout game. They won those games. And you look at Ohio State's schedule, the best game that I see right here is Wisconsin 38-7. And that's about it. I mean, Penn State, we all knew Penn State was a mismatch going into Columbus. We knew they wasn't going to win that game. So, I mean, they lost on the road to Minnesota.
They were both at the time, weren't they?
No. Penn State lost to Minnesota
the week before,
on the week before. Yeah. So, to me, the eye test maybe points to Ohio State being ranked number 1, but the strength of schedule, that's why this is, it's like, what do you rate more, the eye test or the strength of schedule? I think the strength of schedule, LSU deserves to be number 1 and Ohio State number 2.
I'm gonna agree to disagree on that. I just really think that Ohio State is the real deal. I mean, you have old Ohio State players who have won the national championship at Ohio State saying this team's better than we ever were. And that's something. That's something coming from an alumni saying this team is better than we ever were.
And they have a lot of good alumni that made it to the NFL.
Exactly. But going back to LSU, we'll see. They're playing the SEC championship against number 4 Georgia.
And it's the SEC. It's more stiffer competition, in my opinion, too. So
100%.
That's why I put LSU up there. But we got number 3 and number 4.
Number 3, I got Clemson. They're 12-0. They're undefeated. They deserve the respect just being undefeated. But actually, I was doing a little research on them, and they win by an average of 35 points a game. They win, which means that they are just blowing people out of the water. And I know people argue strength of schedule. Oh, they don't play very many people. They're in the ACC. It's not a tough conference.
It really isn't.
It's not. But they're showing their dominance by how much they win by. Averaging your win by 35 points, that's just insane. That's something that they're always well coached. They're solid all around.
Yeah,
and I know they don't really play a lot of solid teams. But just to me, that stat showing that they win by an average of 35, no other team can do that. No other team's been winning by 35 points the whole season. So that's my number 3.
I just think Clemson is not built like an ACC team. They're far superior. That's like almost Alabama, because they beat Alabama. That's like Alabama, you putting them in the ACC and see what Alabama does with the ACC. You know what I'm saying? Because they beat they can go toe-to-toe with Alabama, and Alabama's in the SEC. So to me, they're not really like your normal ACC team.
That's my point. They look like an SEC team. They belong there. They belong in that college football playoff because they look like an SEC team.
Yeah. Schedule to me, I just want to see them play somebody.
Before we got Georgia. They're 11-1. Their only loss was to South Carolina in double overtime. Georgia impressed me because they're versatile. This whole season they've thrown to so many different receivers, 7+. They've had 7+ receivers that have caught the ball this year, and they're swift. They're hard to stop. They're very well coached. They've had great wins against Notre Dame when they were ranked, Florida, Auburn. I mean, like I said before, they're going to be playing Auburn in the SEC championship.
So let me ask you a question: who you think at the end of the day is going to be the final 4 teams?
Those are my final 4.
Oh, that's it. So you think Georgia is going to be LSU?
I think Georgia doesn't even need to be LSU.
Wow, so you think they can lose another game?
Make it? I do. I'm saying they're going to compete with LSU
over a 1-loss Oklahoma
to the final seed. I think they're going to compete with LSU to the final end, and it's going to be a field goal game. And I think that the committee's going to respect them. I do.
Wow. So over a 1-loss Oklahoma team, over a 1-loss Utah team if they beat Oregon.
Utah's not even in the picture for me. They're there.
Because if they beat Oregon, they're going to make it.
They're the tail end for me.
To me, if they beat Oregon, they have to put them there, almost.
Their strength of schedule wasn't that good either, I don't think.
It wasn't, but you beat Oregon at the right time. That is
It's a good win. It's a good win, and you got to respect that to them. But
I'm going to go, all right, real quickly here. I'm going to go LSU number 1. I mean, who I think the committee, because I know the committee love Ohio State. All right? They that's their child, right? For the first playoff rankings when it was TCU battling and Penn State. And remember that time they gave it to Penn State, even though I thought Penn State should have got in because they beat Ohio State, they still gave Ohio State. Exactly. The committee loves Ohio State. So you know what? I'm talking from the committee's perspective here. Like I said, personally, I think LSU number 1. But from the committee's perspective, they love Ohio State. Ohio State will be number 1. LSU will be number 2. Clemson will get there at number 3. And number 4, I think Utah will lose to Oregon. So that would knock the Pac-12 out because Oregon has 2 losses. I think Oklahoma beats Baylor. And I think Oklahoma gets that spot. That last 4 seed.
I mean, it could happen. It definitely could happen. And that's when the committee's going to have that. That's going to be the controversy. I mean, if Georgia holds it closer, if Georgia beats LSU, I think Georgia's in no matter what.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But if Georgia loses, they have a tough decision because Oklahoma's strength schedule is not that good either.
And if LSU and Ohio State both lose, they still in.
Oh yeah, they're locked. Those 2 teams are locked in.
So maybe Georgia may win it a little bit more, and maybe they may win and get in. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.